I'm breathing underwater, I'm weightless through space. I'm soaring like an eagle all over this place. Creatures most will never see are waiting there to look at me, and all I gotta do is breathe underwater. Hi friends, you probably noticed the new diving bell on my shelf. A viewer named Frank T. Productions sent it to me, and I love it. It's a pretty authentic model of the Seaview diving bell with the light over each porthole and the cable hook to raise and lower it. It's too bad the hatch doesn't open, but maybe Admiral Nelson is doing something top secret in there and we shouldn't intrude. He also sent me this Lost in Space laser pistol. I'm still coming up with a way to display it. So what do you think? I could be Guy Williams if I was younger and better looking. Thank you, Mr. Productions. May I call you Frank? These are some great gifts. I'll be brainstorming in the coming weeks about ways I can use this in a sketch. Absolutely beautiful. Relative to human history, modern science hasn't been around that long. But for as long as it has been around, there have been hacks who tried to exploit it for money, usually by tickling people's ears with weird stories and claims.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bainbridge Wells, bringing you another episode in my continuing film series, Science on the Move. I am speaking to you now from the shoreline of tiny Murrow Atoll, some 800 miles due west of the coast of Chile, where for years there have been persistent stories of a sea monster which is supposed to inhabit these waters.
I rest my case. Bainbridge Wells is currently the most popular of those hacks thanks to a TV program he hosts. That thing he's holding is an ultrasonic lure that's supposed to draw the creature to them so they can get it on film.
At any rate, I shall continue to operate this lure as a part of my little experiment in hopes that it may produce some sort of tangible result that
Is that tangible enough for you? By the time it's done, Wells is thoroughly shaken, but he's in better shape than his crew. They're all dead. And yes, we know that's the same monster that Sharky imagined when that goofy gas was affecting him on that other island. They're both our old friend and Irwin Allen's favorite monster, Dawson Palmer. I've talked about him elsewhere. Once everyone is down, the thing goes back into the water and disappears. It's not hard to guess what all this is going to have to do with the Seaview.
Frankly, Wells, I don't like anything you stand for.
You can't be much plainer than that, Admiral, but I expected as much.
In which case, this visit has wasted your time and mine. Good day, sir.
Now, just a minute, Admiral. I expected resistance, but not dismissal. I'm not fond of being treated like a schoolboy.
You know my attitude toward people who exploit science for their own selfish ends, particularly people with as few real qualifications as you have. Now, why did you insist on coming here and putting us both in this embarrassing position?
Even Wells will have to admit that Admiral Nelson is a pure scientist. He's in it for the knowledge and the advancement of human knowledge. Wells is in it for the fame and money. That pretty well makes him Nelson's enemy. Still, he insists he needs the Seaview.
To capture that mythical sea monster of yours?
No, for a purpose I think even you'll grant is a worthy one. I want to prove the existence of an entirely new and unsuspected biological species. Now, isn't that worth the cost and effort of an expedition?
Yes, well worth it. If I could see any possibility at all of success. But since I don't, Mr. Wells, I must respectfully decline. I'll have you escorted ashore.
That's as plain as it gets, but Wells has one more ace up his sleeve.
I somehow managed to take a single picture.
You have the negative of this?
As a matter of fact, I do. Why?
I'd like to study it. A negative is almost impossible to fake.
That depends on what you're trying to do, but if the idea is to alter the surface of the negative to make something look like something else, he's right. The material is way too delicate to make alterations on the negative without leaving obvious evidence of it. Wells just happens to have it in his pocket. Nelson studies the negative and declares it genuine. The next question: how do we know Wells didn't pay Dawson Palmer to play monster for a photo op? Nelson orders a change of course to the Murrow Atoll. Captain Crane doesn't like it, but he'll do it because the Admiral asked him to.
Hi, Chief.
Hi, Patterson. Hey, Patterson.
Yeah, what's up, Chief?
Where you going?
The photo lab. I got the first watch.
Don't you know we're getting underway? You're supposed to be ashore on emergency leave.
Oh, that. Well, I went to Mr. Moore and I canceled it.
You just cancel it, huh? I break my back getting you this leave, and then you just turn around and cancel it, just like that, huh?
Sorry about that, Chief. But I appreciate your efforts. I'll see you around.
Patterson is taking a particular interest in this mission. We're not sure why yet. On the way, they're preparing special weapons to deal with the creature, including special missiles.
How much of this stuff do we load, Chief?
40,000 units.
40,000? You could put an army to sleep with that much tranquilizer.
That's what it says, 40. You want to write to your congressman about it?
Okay, we'll load it.
I believe he's in the process of doing that even as we speak. Tranquilizer guns I get. Tranquilizer missiles I don't get. Are we hunting a man-sized critter or Monstro the whale? It's getting way too serious in here. Let's fix that.
Hey, Patterson.
This is developing fluid. Okay? I got a requisition for it.
Sure. No sweat. Listen, Patterson, could you do me a favor?
I guess so. What is it?
Take a look. How about that, huh?
Not bad.
Not bad. Eat your heart out, kid. She's gorgeous.
We're learning about Patterson today. Specifically, he's the boat's photo processing wizard. Sharky wants an 8x10. Patterson says, no problem.
Only don't lose that copy, huh? Because it's the only picture she had, and I wouldn't want to break the poor kid's heart. Yeah.
Sure, I understand, Chief, right? But I'll tell you, if something did happen to the picture, I could always strike off a copy from Kowalski's print.
Kowalski?
Yeah. He's got one just like it. See you later.
Kowalski, get the lead out or you're on report.
It seems to me he should be mad at the girl since she's the one who lied to him. But she's not here, and Kowalski is, so he'll be harassing Kowalski for the rest of the episode.
Admiral, we're heaving to just beyond Morro Reef.
Very well, I'll join you in the control room.
Skipper, can I have a word with you?
Yeah, so what is it, Patterson?
I'd like permission to make a dive in Muro Lagoon.
Well, you know better than that, Patterson. All duty requests go through channels.
That's all right, Jim. Well, what's on your mind, Patterson?
Sir, I thought since this is a scientific expedition, you'd be sending out a diving party. I want to be on it.
And, if we don't send out a party of divers?
I'd like permission to go anyway, sir.
One of the recurring thoughts has to do with the film from the movie camera. It disappeared, and Wells says it's probably at the bottom of the lagoon, ruined. It's too bad it was a visual record of the attack. Well, this time we won't bother with film. We'll tranquilize this thing and capture it. Patterson almost seems to be taking this whole thing personally.
I'll need your best underwater photographer for this dive. Who is it?
Well, let's see.
I am, sir.
All right, certainly not lacking in self-confidence, are you?
No, sir. I can handle the job.
Thing is, he's probably right. Again, we're learning all about Patterson today. He's not only a magician in the darkroom, he handles the camera just as skillfully.
This job's important to you, Patterson?
Yes, sir. Vitally important.
Why?
The whole camera crew was wiped out on Muro Atoll, sir. I want to know how it happened.
Now, come on, Patterson. There's more to it than that. Tell us the truth. Why do you really want to make that dive?
Because I want to know how those men died and who was responsible.
Well, we don't know his name, but he's about 7 feet tall, slimy, and has these doohickeys sticking out all over him.
Why does this mean so much to you?
The cameraman on that crew didn't panic, sir. I'd be willing to swear to that.
How do you know so much about the cameraman?
He was my father.
Oh, he wants to know why his dad died and Wells survived, and why Wells is lying about his dad panicking. I'm surprised he wasn't in Wells's face when he said that, but Patterson is too good a sailor to do something like that. Plus, he's just not a violent guy.
Chief, what are you bugging me for? I got orders.
I don't care who gave you the orders. It's against regulations.
What's the trouble here, Chief?
Now look, Mr. Morton. The book says that no diver goes out alone, and if Patterson goes into that lagoon, he's got to have a man with him.
You're right. There should be another diver. Get one suited up.
Anybody in particular?
No, we're not sure what's out in that lagoon. Better ask for a volunteer.
Aye, sir.
All right, carry on.
Okay, Kowalski, get into a suit. You just volunteered.
As I said, and the chief is right, the rule since the very beginning has been always dive with a buddy. Now, it's possible to get certified for solo diving. My wife did it during a time when I was laid up and couldn't dive. But I doubt such a course is available to Patterson. And if it is, it probably costs too much. And Kowalski, that's what you get for having that picture, even though you have no idea that's what the problem is. That is the strangest underwater camera I ever saw. That thing on the front looks more like a prism than a lens, but it's hard to get a good look at it. I can't help looking at their dive gear. At this time, you put that belt on with what you hoped was enough weight to keep you from bobbing to the surface, but not so much that you can't get up in the water column and swim back to wherever you came from. The thing is, your buoyancy changes with depth. The deeper you go, the less buoyancy you have. That's why they're walking on the bottom instead of hovering in the water the way you see modern divers do. They did the best they could with what they have. But in 1970, all that changed in a big way. I'll explain that in a moment. Right now, they've made an important discovery.
Patterson!
Tripod, I was right. If a current could take this out to here, the magazine could be close too.
That's right. Let's go.
Sure enough, just a few fin kicks, or steps if you prefer, away, there it is, intact.
Missile room. Stand by the fire.
Aye, sir.
I thought you said these things weren't much bigger than a man.
The one I saw wasn't.
This is at least 30 times the size. Look at it, Lee.
Tranquilizers won't be any good against that.
All right, recall your diving party.
Seaview, the diving party. Do you read me?
Kowalski, sir, I read you.
Secure the diving operation. Get back aboard at once.
Aye, aye, sir.
Not a problem. Patterson has what he came for.
You heard him, Patterson. Let's go.
This is the magazine.
I know, but we've got to go.
I don't know why he's arguing Patterson has the magazine. He doesn't have the camera, and I wouldn't suggest going back for it.
Yes, those two blips are Kowalski and Patterson.
Yeah, but there's a third one's moving toward them. It's one of those creatures.
It looks like it, only it's smaller. Not much bigger than a man.
Well, that's exactly the way Wells originally described it. And there it is.
You mean to say they come in two sizes?
You really think the big one was born that size? What do you suppose might be the most obvious relationship between them? Spoiler, they'll never figure it out.
Kowalski, look out!
You're holding a spear gun. Use it. Wrong end, Dodo.
The pointy end goes into the other man.
They'll wrestle around for a while, but guess who wins? Kowalski and Patterson are both unconscious. Good thing their regulators stayed in their mouths, but they had to. If you look closely at them, you can see that the regulator is basically rubber banded to their face. So even if, when they lose consciousness, they don't lose their air supply.
Skipper!
Sound general quarters, ready for collision.
Battle stations, battle stations!
I can't help noticing that there's one order he forgot to give. Grab onto something.
I said straight, right and roll.
I'm waiting for the episode where one of these monsters turns it upside down. Wouldn't that give the periscope a new perspective? Everything works, there's no damage to any of their systems, they're just sitting on the bottom because that guy said so. They could leave any time except he's still there, so they'll basically play dead until he gets bored and goes away.
What you doing? Moving off. I think this is our chance to get away. Are the divers back aboard?
No, sir. We can't get any response from them.
We can't afford to wait much longer. If it turns and attacks again, we're finished.
They're still not responding and they've disappeared from sonar. Crane has no choice. Give the order to surface. They don't know what's going on aboard the sub, but they do know they should probably make haste to get to it. Now that they're up off the bottom, they can swim horizontally like you see divers doing. In 1970, it got a lot easier to do that. This is a buoyancy compensation device, or BCD. It goes on like a jacket, but it's a tuxedo jacket. It has a cummerbund. The key component is right here. A set of air bladders. By pumping air into or letting air out of them, you can adjust your buoyancy until you just hang there in the water like a fish. This chock here attaches to a hose from your air supply. You can push this button and pump air into the bladders, or you can hold it up a little and push this button on the end, and it lets air out. It's impossible to exaggerate how much this simple device revolutionized diving. If Patterson and Kowalski had had these, the creatures probably would have ripped them to shreds anyway. Never mind.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold it. Hold it. Skipper, this is Sharky. Emergency.
What is it?
There's a signal on the hull. Don't blow ballast yet, sir.
Chip, belay that order to blow ballast. I'll be right down. Open the hatch.
They're back aboard and safe. Well, safe from what's out there. They're not so safe from what's in here.
Kowalski!
Sir?
Why didn't you answer my call?
Our mics went dead, Skipper. We couldn't send or receive.
You heard my first order to come back. You deliberately ignored it.
It wasn't his fault, sir. It was mine.
Listen, mister, do you realize you jeopardized the life of every man aboard this ship?
I do now. Yes, sir, but I was after this.
You went out with a camera. Where is it?
I left it out there. I couldn't bring both back, and I considered this more important.
It better be. Now, you go to your quarters and stay there. I'll deal with you later.
We saw a side of Captain Crane that we haven't really seen before. He should give the crew some warning about his temper.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Later, Wells is trying to talk Admiral Nelson out of going home for repairs.
But we can't go home without proof, not now.
Why, Mr. Wells, what's the great urgency?
All right, Admiral. I'll be completely frank. Ever since that attack on the island, I've been under great pressure. There's even been some talk that somehow I was responsible for the loss of the men in my camera crew.
Oh, you want me to risk these men and this ship to save your career?
Pretty much, but you won't hear him admit it. He gets all science-y on the Admiral. New species, specimen for study. We can avoid the big one by staying up in shallow water where it isn't. Let's land and capture the small one.
A new species and actual specimen to study.
Oh, I'm sorry, Admiral. I thought you were alone. I just wanted to give you a report about this.
Where'd you get that?
It was fished out of the lagoon by the divers.
It's the film from your expedition, isn't it?
What's left of it? If it was at the bottom of the lagoon, it's worthless.
I'm afraid so.
Admiral, I'd like to keep it if I might.
It's your property.
Over Captain Crane's objections, he gives the order to return to Murrow Atoll.
Patterson, what are you doing up here in officer's country?
I gotta see the captain.
You'll see him soon enough. Believe me. Now, come on, get below before you get in more trouble.
It's my neck, Chief. I'm not leaving here until I talk to Captain Crane.
Oh, sir, he was leaving.
That's all right. What's the matter?
Sir, it's about that camera magazine I fished out of the lagoon. I'd like permission to develop it. I think I may be able to save some of that film.
It just depends on how much water got into it, but I see no reason not to let him try.
But the film's ruined. You can't salvage anything.
Sir, I'd like to try. I've got to.
Well, the Admiral gave it back to Bainbridge Wells.
Wells? Why?
Well, it's his property.
Well, okay, that might count as a reason not to let him try.
It's my father's property. I'm going to find out how he died, and nothing's going to stop me from trying. Nothing. I'm all right. I know what I'm doing.
I'll take care of him, Skip. Come on.
You don't talk to the captain that way, Patterson. Crane knows Patterson well, so he's letting it go by. The man did just lose his dad. At the atoll, the men are on shore with their weapons, and Wells has turned on the lure.
Hadn't we better secure the raft just in case?
Chief, give me a hand.
The guns! We can't reach the guns!
That's monster talk for fooled you, ha-ha. Here's an idea. Instead of securing the raft, get in it and paddle. Okay, that works too. Once again, Wells was as useful as an extra toe on the back of your head. Does he ever actually do anything? While Wells is on the island, Patterson is doing something that could land him in prison. What can you say? The door was unlocked. He pretty well had to explore. Haven't you ever played a video game?
Well, Admiral, what do you think now?
It's incredible. You're right, Wells. It is a new species. Nothing like it has ever been reported.
Think of the headlines when we get back. Who knows what this will lead to? Honors from all branches of science, fabulous offers, perhaps even a Nobel Prize.
Rewards. Is that all you can see in this?
Well, yeah, isn't that what you see?
Doesn't the fact of the discovery itself have any meaning for you?
Oh, of course. I'm deeply humbled in the face of it.
And when the cameras start rolling, he'll be even more humbled, or at least as much as the director tells him to be.
If you don't mind, I'll wait to celebrate till we get this back to the States.
You don't think there's any chance of it breaking out, do you?
Oh, not as long as we keep it tranquilized.
How long will it stay that way?
It's hard to say. We don't know very much about its metabolism. Best we can do now is keep a close watch on it. You better forget about this device of yours from now on. If it's activated, it just might stimulate him into consciousness.
Then put it in a different room far away from here. Why am I the only one who thought of that?
How long have you been getting this reading?
Just a few minutes. I called you right away.
There's no doubt about it. That's the one that attacked us. What's the range?
A little over a mile. It's headed in this direction. It's closing fast.
It's obviously going to attack again.
I wonder why.
Wait, where are you going?
To alert the missile room. We'll need every weapon we've got to hold off.
There are times when it's smarter to run than to fight, and this is one of them. I suggest you alter course slightly and pour on all the speed you've got. With this lead, I doubt he can overtake us.
Right. Chip, I want a new heading. 015 degrees relative.
015 degrees, aye, sir.
Yeah, and bring it up to flank speed and hold it there at all costs until further orders.
At all costs?
Yeah, and unless you want to go another round with that thing out there.
Its pursuit is relentless, and it's gaining. Again, I wonder what it wants. Patterson is finished with the film. The projector and screen to view it are in the room where the so-called specimen is.
Come in, Mr. Wells.
What's all this?
You're just in time for the world premiere. Conceived, written, and directed by the famous Bainbridge Wells.
Why do I get the feeling he's already watched it?
What are you talking about?
Oh, yes. I nearly forgot. Cameraman Derek Patterson. But no one looks at the film credits, do they, Mr. Wells?
What do you know about Derek Patterson?
Quite a lot. He was my father.
If Wells hasn't already lost bladder control, he will in a few seconds.
I think I know how he died, and it's right here on this film for the whole world to see.
My film? You took it from my cabin.
I took it from the bottom of Muro Lagoon. You thought the water ruined the film, didn't you? But I'm an expert, Mr. Wells. I saved your film.
And now he's going to make you watch it before he shows the whole world. Remember how I said Patterson isn't a violent man? Most guys would have beaten Wells to a pulp by now. But Patterson knows Wells can recover from that. He intends to do something much, much, much worse. Expose him.
You knew that beast would charge toward the sound that device makes. To save your own miserable hide, you threw that device right at the camera crew. That's why the monster attacked them and gave you time to get away. That's how it happened, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
All right, yes.
You're not going to be a famous man when we get back, Wells. You'll be infamous.
The man who ran away and left 3 men to die in his place. All those contracts, awards, TV deals, he'll be lucky to get a guest spot on Wayne's World.
Patterson, listen to me. I'm sorry about your father, and I want to make it up to you. And I will if you just give me the chance. Listen, there's plenty of money in this for everybody. I'll see that you get some. All you need. Only destroy this film.
No deal, Mr. Wells.
He really thinks money can compensate for the loss of his father. Patterson should take the deal. Destroy a fake roll of film, take the money, then expose him. And sue him for his cut of the money, too. He wouldn't need it where he'd be going. Patterson is tough, but apparently Wells is tougher, and he eventually knocks Patterson out. And it really doesn't matter, because remember what the Admiral said about Wells's gadget? When I said he wouldn't need money where he was going, I meant prison, not...
Those pictures,
Don't try to talk.
they show how my father was killed. It's him, Bainbridge Wells.
He's paid for it. I'll try to get you some help. Lie down. Put your head down.
You get the feeling the creature knew Wells was the source of all his troubles. But now it's loose on the boat, probably confused as all get out. It's a good thing Sharkey and Kowalski have their tranquilizer guns. Or not. 5 hits and it's still coming. 2 shots brought it down before, so I think it's safe to say this stuff doesn't work anymore. You know it's never seen a door before, or a wall for that matter, but it figured out that if you can't go through the door, go around it. There doesn't seem to be any way to stop it. There's only one thing to do. He's going to use that thing to draw it to the missile room. It's wandering the corridors and he can't get past it, so he'll use the same method the creature did, go around it, into the air ducts and come out in the missile room. The mini-sub has been raised up and the Admiral unlocked the door. Now he waits for the creature to follow the lure. According to internal tracking, that's what it's doing. The door was unlocked. You didn't have to do that.
Are you all right?
I am now.
Oh, where is it?
It's back at the sea where it belongs.
He sent it home. It's obviously a sentient being with familial ties, probably a child going by the difference in size between the two creatures. Wells invaded its territory and deliberately provoked it. All of this happened because he wanted ratings. He ain't gonna get them.
Skipper, everything's okay down there.
Fine, Chief. Secure the alert.
Aye, aye, sir. One more thing. Down in sickbay, they want to know what to do about Patterson.
What about him?
He's strong enough to get up, but they don't know whether he's under arrest or what.
Send him back to duty.
Aye, aye, sir.
Despite his methods, it'd be hard to court-martial him for being right.
One thing still bothers me, Admiral. There are at least 2 more of those creatures out there, and who knows how many more.
Well, it might come back for him sometime with the proper equipment. By that time, Wells, in spite of himself, will have left a real legacy to science.
I don't know. A man like him, it just doesn't seem right.
Well, it isn't.
Wells is proof that anybody can stumble into greatness, and you don't even need to stop being a selfish jerk. Think about what the creature perceives. These things show up and immediately start hurting his ears. If you do come back, try to communicate instead. I would bet they have language. And as for the really big ones, they'll tell you the same thing I used to tell people. Don't mess with my kids, and I won't mess with you. If you want to meet the kid, then next time, bring chocolate. All I gotta do is breathe underwater. Breathe underwater. Breathe underwater. Something something what? Even Wells will, boy. He instends the hook, the Hable cook, right.